think we can probably go ahead and get started. Today we are talking about hourly wage data entry. And so this is something new this year that we are kicking off. So we will hear from the finance team about why this is a collection we're doing.
Hello. Can you hear me? I hope so. I'm Ida Batista from the School Finance Committee. So we have we have a new title of statute, minimum hourly wages, which requires that school SAUs that have hourly employees pay above the minimum, and for ed techs it's 125% above the minimum, and for all other support staff, so anyone who's being paid hourly who works at the school, it's an additional 115% for the school year of fiscal school year of 26. The DOE will cover the difference between what is being paid and that new rate if it's below that rate. So if you are already paying your hourly workers above those rates, there will be no additional compensation from the DOE. The other requirement of that is that the employee, so we are looking at the FY25 staff data and payment data, payroll data, and the employees must be employed in FY26 for that minimum adjustment.
So this is going to be a comparison from 25 data to 26 data for anyone who is wondering why we're bouncing around from year to year and why we're collecting it this year. This is going to be a comparison of this year's data to next year. So we do need the information for this year so that we can then do that comparison. All right. So now we're going to talk about when this all needs to be completed. So we're going to talk about what needs to be done, but something to keep in mind is that due date. We do need this data to be updated in NEO by the 9th of May. So that is next Friday. So some people I know have been doing updates. Some of you are here today to learn about how to do those updates. If you need any support in the next week, please feel free to reach out at any time. But we'll go through the process now of how to do those updates. So if you're concerned that you don't have a staff member who is accurately reported, there is a method for reviewing the data that have been entered. As this data was collected in the fall, it's important to just make sure everything's all set. So we do have some strategies for reviewing the data to make sure that your hourly wage employees are being recorded accurately. So the way to review this would be going into NEO, into staff, and then under reports at the top of the screen, you have staff details report for FTE. And that's going to give you your FTE report. So here's what that looks like. Once you're logged into NEO, you have NEO staff up here on the top. Your options may look a little bit different depending on your NEO modules that you have access to. Once you select staff, you'll be in the staff module where you can select reports. And the second report down is your staff details report FTE. So you'll select that report and it will bring you to where you'll be able to see all of your staff who are in NEO currently. And you'll be able to see these columns for salary stipend amount, hourly wage, hours per week, and weeks per year. So you'll be able to take a look at those columns. If the hourly wage, hours per week, and hours per year, or weeks per year, are populated, those are staff who have had an hourly wage entered for their staff assignment. So you would want to go through, you can export the report to an Excel file to sort it so you can see who's included in those hourly wage amounts. It's a little bit easier if you export the data. Completely up to you how you want to do that. Salaries and stipend amount will always be populated regardless of how they're being funded. So that column that has salary stipend amount is going to be based off of what you enter in that column. So even with an hourly employee, you are being asked to put in a salary or stipend amount. So that will still be there. So that's not an indicator that the data are entered for hours per week. Please look at that hourly wage, hours per week, and weeks per year column. If you see someone who is not recorded as an hourly wage, we're going to go through now how to update that staff member's assignment. So in NEO, again, we're going to go into staff, but this time we're going to go to manage staff and use the SAU search. So this is for a staff member who has been employed with your district, currently has a staff assignment with you, and needs to be updated to reflect an hourly wage. Under manage staff, we'll select SAU search. We'll select the staff member. We're picking on Mike today. And then in here, you'll have their active staff assignment. You want to update the active staff assignment, not use this add assignment option at the bottom. Okay, they already have an active staff assignment, so we're going to come over to where that assignment is listed, select actions, and edit. Once we're in the edit feature, you'll be able to see your position start date, what the position is, all of that information will be there. You also have this question for, does this person receive an hourly rate, annual salary, or fixed stipend? You'll be able to select and toggle between these options. You'll want to change this to hourly wage in order for this data to be entered. Once you've toggled over to hourly wage, you'll have other options that come up for hourly rate, average hours per week, and average weeks per year. You'll notice that this salary or stipend amount is still listed. So you do still need to calculate a total salary or stipend amount after entering in the hourly rate, and it won't calculate it for you. So you'll just have to multiply that out so you can get an overall salary. Once you have entered all of the data here, you're going to go to the bottom of the staff assignment and you're going to select submit. So if the data are all correct, everything is updated, you want to select submit and not save your progress. Saving your progress does not actually give the update over to us, so you will want to make sure that you select that submit button. Once you've selected submit, you should be able to see this staff member immediately reflected on that staff details report FTE so that you can make sure that the data were entered accurately. With that, that is how to update staff for hourly wage. So if you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out to medms.support@maine.gov. I also know that Ida and Donna are available for questions on the finance side of things. So we can help with data entry on the MEDMS support side of the world. And Ida and Donna are here to answer questions about finance. So now let's run through some questions. So there is a question here about, would other school support staff include lunch aides? So if you have a lunch aide, they would count. They can be updated to hourly wage. Great question. The only positions that we're having problems with, or that we're not collecting this information for, would be substitutes. So if you go in to try to update a substitute position, you're not going to get that hourly wage option because there's just a lot of unpredictability in regard to staff who are substitutes and when they're going to work. For example, my significant other is subbing. He's subbing today, but I don't think he's subbed since November. So it's a little bit of a anomaly on how often they're actually going to be subbing. So it's a little unpredictable. So Cindy, great question. So the question is, please clarify again which staff need to be entered for this information. So this is for any of your staff who are paid hourly wages. So if you're not just paying out an overall salary, you're paying hourly for these staff members, those are the ones that need to be updated. You're welcome.
So also for the subs, there's been quite a bit of questions about how we're getting that information, and that is coming from payroll after the end of the school year, from your payroll systems at the end of your school year.
All right.
I think another key point too to mention is that this will be ongoing. It's not a one-time thing. And starting with the 26 collection next fall, it will be a requirement.
Yeah. Great point, Donna. So this is being collected at this point because we missed this opportunity to have this conversation back in the fall. And so next year in the fall, or in July, when you're updating your staff assignments, when staff opens up in the summer, keep in mind that these staff members will also need to be entered with hourly wages for next school year as well. So that will still be an option to select that hourly wage. All right, I am not seeing any further questions. This is a short and sweet. If any questions come up after today's webinar, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be happy to help you get this data entered. So yep, that is correct. So when putting in hourly wage, hours worked, it does not calculate for you. That is correct. You will need to do that calculation on your own and enter the total salary. So please be aware of that is still a required field and it will not auto-generate an answer for you. So again, any questions, please feel free to reach out to Medam's support or to the finance team, Donna Tyner or Ida Batista, or reach out to myself or Kim. We'll be happy to help you to get this all sorted out before next Friday. Slides are not available, but we do have this available in a PDF format that we can send to you with the similar screenshots and things like that. So Tammy, feel free to reach out and we can get that over to you. All right. Have a great rest of your Thursday, everyone, and a great weekend. Enjoy the nice weather we're getting.
Thank you.